Good morning. It is October the 15th, 2016. Excuse my voice throughout this recording because it is allergy season, and with harvest time and the current weather that we are having right now, it is stopping up my allergies. So just excuse that throughout this recording, but it is now time for our second weekly weather briefing for this upcoming week, and this will be the 16th through the 22nd for this upcoming week. We're going to go ahead and get right into it. This week is going to be a little bit of a complicated forecast. The first half of the week I'm pretty confident about, but it's the second half of the week that I'm not so sure about right now. We are possibly going to have a cold front moving through, and it might stall out over our area. We're going to have a disturbance moving out of the Gulf of Mexico that is going to feed moisture into that cold front, and then at the same time we're going to have a low pressure that is going to move off of that cold front, and it could become a cutoff low as well. And um, you know how difficult those cutoff lows are to forecast because we had one really just a few weeks ago, close to a month ago, and it was very hard to forecast. The temperatures tend to stay cloudy and cooler because of those cutoff lows. So we're going to have to watch that. If this cutoff low sits in our region and we have this front that stalls out over our area, and then we have that Gulf of Mexico moisture feeding into it, then we are going to have a lot of moving parts to the forecast by the second half of this week. But like I said, the first half of this week from here through Wednesday, it looks like I'm pretty confident about. We are going to possibly be having record high temperatures because we are going to have that southeast ridge set in once again. You can tell there's the high pressure, and it is going to start spinning in that southerly flow into our region, and our height anomalies are going to be rising as well. The low pressure just sits there and it continues to feed moisture up into our region, and now we're already getting to Wednesday, and you start to see that we do see a few isolated showers forming right here, just north of Paducah, Kentucky, around Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and that is actually associated with a cold front that is with a low pressure that will be all the way up into Canada, well into Canada, north of Maine, but it is going to have enough moisture that the cold front will be working with moisture all the way back into our region. So we're going to have to watch this because the front is wanting to stall out somewhere in our area right here. We're not sure where. Where the front stalls out, precipitation will ride along and north of it. As you can tell, that cold front's starting to push all the way down into our region now, back towards Kentucky. This is the GFS model, just one particular model, and it shows that rain will be moving into our region by the time we get into Thursday, and it looks like just a few showers. But the GFS wants to stall the cold front just south of our region, which, like I said, if it rides along and north of the cold front, which it will, then if that cold front moves south and east of our area by just a little bit at 50 to 100 miles, then it is going to make all the difference in how much rain we receive. This is going to probably be a sharp cutoff in the precipitation totals because that front is going to stall. So we're going to go from some areas like Georgia, Alabama, Eastern Tennessee, East Kentucky receiving hardly anything to our region picking up a lot of rain. That is according to the GFS model. You can tell it just continues to put moisture into our region. And now the GFS wants to show this area of low pressure. This is that disturbance moving out of the Gulf of Mexico, and it moves up into our region. And then it just kind of sits there and cuts off from the jet stream and just kind of feeds moisture into our region. And then by the time we get out towards Wednesday, October 22nd. That is going into the next week, so we really don't want to get that far out. But you can tell that it brings this low pressure, or it brings all of this rain in around Wednesday. And then when it brings it in on Wednesday night, it doesn't even want to move that out until possibly the beginning of next week. And if this is right, then that is going to mean that it is trying to put close to 6 inches of rain. That is the GFS 6Z model for October 15th. Here in a couple hours, the 12Z model will come out, and I will see what the 12Z says. But this one is showing a lot of rain for our region, and you can tell how quickly the cutoff is. If the front moves too far south of our region, then we might not end up with much, like areas of Missouri and Illinois. The GFS the last several days have been showing the heaviest totals in Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, back towards northwest Arkansas and northeast Oklahoma, but now it is starting to push it further south. It is trending further south. If that trend continues and it goes too far south, then we won't end up with much. We're going to look at the temperatures according to the GFS, and you can tell that we are going to be getting toasty around here. It's showing 81 degrees for Sunday as our high, 83 for Monday, and then 83 once again for Tuesday. That is just the GFS model. I think that it is going a degree or two cool with these temperatures, but you can tell that we might be possibly breaking records. They will be in jeopardy as we move into next week. Sunday is going to be the 16th, so you can tell that the record for that day is 87. 87 for Monday, 88 for Tuesday, 90 for Wednesday. We won't really have to worry about Wednesday because even if the cold front moves through after Wednesday afternoon, temperatures will still be warm. They won't be as warm as 90 degrees to break that record. As we go ahead and look at the other days, it was a couple days ago, it was looking like we might be really breaking these records, but the models have started to trend a degree or two cooler. Now we're just kind of looking around 85, 86 degrees, but that's still a degree or two from the record, so it is not going to take much to break the record. That is out of Paducah, Kentucky's National Weather Service office here in Paducah, Kentucky. We're going to go ahead and look at the European model. These are the 500 millibar height anomalies, and a lot of these models are in opinion or are in agreement that we are going to see that dip in the jet stream behind that area of low pressure. You can tell by Wednesday it has that same flow as the GFS has from southwest to northeast for the height anomalies and for the 500 millibar height. Excuse me. And by the time we get into Friday and Saturday, we start to see that jet stream really dipping down, and this is showing some pretty cool temperatures, the European is, with temperature anomalies wanting to show 10 to 15 degrees below average, so that might be putting some areas in a possible very light frost if the European is right. Looking at the CMC model, this is also another model, and you can tell that it does spell rain for our region as well. Going into Wednesday, it just continues to ride there and go. It's not predicting as much rain as the GFS is, but it is predicting that sharp cutoff line around our region as well. So it is going to be a difficult forecast that we're going to have to watch. We're going to have a lot of moisture to work with as well. The dew points, this is for Wednesday, is showing dew points in the 60s. That is very abnormal for this time of the year, very rare and above average. But it is our second severe weather season, so we're going to have to watch for severe weather as well. We will have high temperatures ahead of the cold front. We will have high dew points, and those dew points, that moisture, you can tell it just continues to sit there, and it continues to show those 50s and 60s for dew points, and that is enough moisture for this time of the year to produce a lot of thunderstorms. If we were in the midsummer time, or any time in the summer really, we would be looking for the dew points down into the 70s for severe weather. But we are working our way into fall, so our requirements to meet severe weather are not as high as they are back in the spring and summer. So we are going to have to watch this. We're going to have some shear with it as well. Moving down in here, the book shear is showing some pretty windy conditions with that jet stream. We're going to have a dip in the jet stream with an area of low pressure, the cold front stalling out, and then eventually when that cold front moves through around Friday, Saturday, I think, is when we're going to have our best chance of any severe weather today. We're going to have some lift with these thunderstorms as well. It's not showing much, but it is showing a little bit around our region. So we have a few more days to watch this, but just remember, fall is our second severe weather season. It is not going to take much to produce strong to severe thunderstorms as we move in towards the second half of this week. But I think Wednesday and Thursday, the cold front is still going to be stalling, so we're just going to be dealing with several rounds of precipitation. But as we start to move in towards Friday and Saturday, we see that jet stream dipping down, the cold front eventually pushing through with that area of low pressure, and that is going to mean that we're going to see a little bit of an increase in our dew points, an increase in wind speed because of that low pressure moving close to our region. And so we're going to have to monitor this at the end of this week. Things could change, and if there is any drastic changes, then I will do another video update towards the end of this week about any changes in the weather forecast. But as of right now, it looks like temperatures are really going to warm up as we go through Wednesday and then cool down drastically as we go into Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Temperatures during the day might not make it out of the 60s. Some models are showing just 50s for a couple of days at the end of this week, and that will be because of clouds and rain holding our temperatures down. And so that is going to be below average for this time of the year. We have rain to watch. We have our temperatures to watch as well. First half of the week looks warm. Second half of the week looks cool. And we're going to maybe see some raw days too with a couple of windy days and rainy days mixed in. So just monitor the updates throughout the week. And like I said, I will post another update at the end of this week if any changes are made to this very big forecast coming up for the second half of this week with a lot of moving parts to it as well.